You ever see stuff you can't explain?
This came from somewhere else.
The whole fleet of them, they're all going against the wind.
Life elsewhere in the universe is virtually a certainty.
CIA monkey business.
That was awful strange.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, Laura.
Welcome here to Take Me to Your Dealer. That's Laurel
And Laurel.
Laurel. I like it. We'll do it.
Tell me about Neil's tweets.
Oh, God. You guys, he needs to be stopped. This man must be stopped. Why does, everybody get banned and kicked off of Twitter but him? He's really the one. Because, okay, his latest fucking gem is all about how apparently when he goes to get groceries, every time he does this, he compares a cantaloupe to a grape and thinks about Earth and Jupiter. It's like the same size comparison or whatever. And then he eats the grape. What kind of anti-Earth bullshit is this? What are you doing? What? Why do you eat it?
Say?
What are you trying to say? It sounds hostile to me. I don't know. I don't agree with it. He must be stopped.
He's just reaching for any form of interaction. He's just begging someone will pay attention to him.
He is screaming into the void, and no one cares. No one will ever care. Neil, back the fuck down. Aliens are real. You are insignificant. I said it.
It's true. Yeah, and so let's get into a topic today that he also feels is inconsequential, I guess. We're talking about Oumuamua.
Every podcast is meant to just trigger Neil deGrasse Tyson. We really go out of our way to research.
That's what we're trying to do here.
What will piss him off the most? Yeah. So in the off chance that he listens to this.
No, that was the original idea for our podcast. We were like, do you want to just figure out a way to really piss off Neil deGrasse?
Yeah, we should just rename it to Pissing Off NDT. Pissing Off Neil the Ass. Maybe we'll brainstorm better names, but
Star Trash Talk.
Ooh, that might get some traction. Actually, I like that.
Let's talk about Oumuamua.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Oumuamua.
It's got a cool name.
It's got a great name. It's Hawaiian. Sounds very Hawaiian.
It is Hawaiian.
It's wonderful. It's Hawaiian for scout or messenger from afar, which is just so beautiful, so perfect. And basically, this strange cigar shaped or poop shaped. Come on, it's
disc shaped as well. I've heard more recently. They think it is most likely disc shaped.
Yes, I'm sticking with poop though, because there's nothing
poop shaped.
Nothing better than an interstellar poop, It really made an entrance in October of 2017. It really just shook up everything that we thought we knew about interstellar objects and just fucking space as we know it. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about why this thing is weird and why the hell we care about it.
Well, okay, so it entered our solar system and came the closest to the sun on the 9th of September 2017, but scientists didn't see it until 40 days later on the 19th of October. And at this point, it was already over 21 million miles away. Zoom in away from the Earth, farther and farther from the sun. It was about 85 times the distance of the moon at that point. So everything we know about Oumuamua is from very far away.
Yeah.
It's from observing it at a distance as it is leaving us. And it's continuing to leave us, taking its time exiting the solar system. Right now, it's out past Neptune somewhere, just making its long journey.
Piecing the fuck out of here, basically. It's smell you later. You guys suck. Didn't want to hang around.
So scientists first saw this thing. So it's about 300, they said 300 to 3,000 feet long. Just pretty large.
Yeah, that's a good radius.
But it's a small object overall. As Laura said, it's insanely long, very oblong shape.
It is weird.
Really irregular poop-sized object.
Mm-hmm.
And scientists that observed it first thought it was a comet, maybe coming from the Oort cloud, which is a theorized cloud of comets that exist at the edge of our solar system.
Right.
But then they noticed that it was moving insanely fast around the sun. So the sun couldn't capture it.
Yeah, it did like a little like loop de loop kind of like it came near the sun and then sort of like slingshotted through Mercury's orbit, passing near us, and then again like piecing out of here.
Like it tugged on it a little bit, but like couldn't actually capture it like it would most objects to stay in its orbit. And it's
Right.
because of how insanely fast it was going.
Yes. The weird thing is that it went faster. So
Right.
we can get more into that. But yeah, so
Yeah, we'll get more into it. So
it would just accelerated faster and faster basically as it was leaving
Right.
the sun, which doesn't make any fucking sense at all. So
Yeah.
that's just a little sneak peek as to why it's weird.
But at the time they already knew it was weird because the fact that it was not being captured by the sun implies and the speed it was moving at implies that it didn't come from our solar system. It came
Right.
from outside our solar system, and we have never observed something from outside of our solar system before. I also was reading that it was moving at such a velocity that it's like resting velocity is still higher than any objects like near Earth in our like
Okay.
cosmic neighborhood. So it had to have come from even farther away in the galaxy, just somewhere out there, and just basically like shot through our system, just kind of passing through and saying what's up and heading back out again.
Yeah.
And yeah, we absolutely have never observed anything like it before. So
No, man. Yeah, this is the first time that we've ever seen an interstellar object like this. But then
Yeah.
apparently we had another one like a year later or something. It's really weird, right?
yeah,
Like, there
2
was
years
like
later.
there was like another one that was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" So, I don't know. Now-
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit because we have these telescopes now and whatever. We're able to actually see this sort of stuff where we couldn't before, which is an interesting point because it means that they're probably out there all the time and they're not that interesting. So the other one we noticed, which would be like classified as I2, so it's like interstellar object 2, was very clearly a comet. It had a very long tail and looked like every other comet we've ever seen. Just its orbit suggested that it came from outside of our solar system or its trajectory. So Oumuamua is real freaking weird because it doesn't have a tail.
Does not. No.
A tail on a comet is just basically a bunch of ice and dirt that gets heated off the comet and envelops it and trails after it.
Yeah, they kind of look like space sperms.
Cool. Yeah. Space sperms.
Yeah.
And if it was accelerating as it moved past the sun, which it did, the only thing that would make sense is that all of that ice and stuff was being heated off of its surface. So it accelerated. Again, scientists saw none of that. So they had to classify it as an asteroid. But asteroids can't accelerate.
Yeah, they just slapped that on there. They were like, fuck it, asteroid. But it's like, not really an asteroid either. We really don't know. We still don't know. They really want to just like put a nice little bow on it and just figure it out and have it be a done deal because there's just so much speculation. This is really like, being fueled in the UFO community of, it being possibly extraterrestrial in origin and like possibly a ship or some kind of alien tech. So yeah, like I feel like the scientific community is especially Neil the ass is like really trying to just like it's just not anything special, like stop fucking paying attention to it, but it won't die. It won't go away.
No, they're trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so you have an object that at first they're like, okay, it's a comet. Like, okay, well, it doesn't have a tail. Well, it's an asteroid then. Okay, but it's accelerating as it moves past the sun, and also it's like tumbling. They said it's not spinning like an asteroid would rotate or any object would rotate. It's like falling, tumbling.
Yeah, it does rotate, I guess. Like it rotates like a full rotation, I guess, like once every 8 hours or something like that. And then it's simultaneously wobbling. So it's like spinning like end over end and wobbling as it's rotating, which is very weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just nothing really moves like that.
They said it could be indicative of like a crazy violent space collision that sent it flying out into the universe because it would take a while to stabilize its rotation. It just still doesn't explain anything. Like, that's like a really cool theory, but like why is it accelerating as it moves past our sun? Which I also love because if it was it's weird that that's where it would accelerate. Because if it had slowed down, it would be captured. So inner space Object 2 that they had discovered 2 years later, as it moved past the sun, did everything a comet would do. We saw an observable tail, and then it fragmented because of that pressure and the heating, and we saw pieces of it like flying off into the sun, and it broke apart. And they've said that based off of Oumuamua's like shape and how weird it is, there's not a chance in hell it wouldn't have started fragmenting and just completely broken apart if it also was being heated and evaporating.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. None of it makes any sense.
It's the weirdest thing. And yeah, I would like to know what it is, but I'm also kind of terrified to know what it is. Yeah, and so scientists, we actually, again, like we only had like basically the span of like a week to really observe it because the brightness started to drop. We had to work really fast to basically observe it. We put like all of our best telescopes and scientists on it, like telescopes from like all over the world, including the VLT telescope in Chile. Do you know what that stands for?
Ooh.
Tal?
I don't know what it stands for.
VLT. Very large telescope, actually.
No way.
Yes, that is
Did
the
you make
actual
that up?
name. No, this is
No,
a
it's
fact.
not.
It's a factoid. Enjoy that
Oh,
factoid.
please.
And nobody was able
Cool.
to get a picture of it. And so everybody was just really pissed at themselves that they didn't act faster. And yeah, so now that's kind of like the goal and the mission of everybody is to like be on high alert for next time. I know people like want to start planning missions to get out there and like really spring into action, like if there ever is like another Oumuamua. And then you said that they want to try to still get it, right?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple of different things going on there. So like one is that they're still so intrigued by what the fuck this object could possibly be that they're planning on possibly sending spacecraft out to intercept it because it's moving, at like its own steady pace now that it's outside of the sun and everything. So we could like get to it. I think it was like 15 years or 20 years or something like that.
Because it's going to stay in our solar system for like the next 1,000 years. Basically, it's going to take a long ass time to leave. So yeah, I mean, we can still maybe get something.
Unless it starts accelerating again.
Oh.
But then there's also, the reason that we found it to begin with is because of that telescope in Hawaii. It's searching for asteroids and comets in an attempt to prevent an apocalypse, basically. It's like we have to be scanning the skies constantly to make sure that we see what's around us.
Right.
So, we're going to keep seeing more objects like this now that we're actually looking for them, and we're getting better and better at looking for them.
I'm excited about the James Webb telescope that they're going to launch. That one's, have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're gonna fucking launch. I think soon, like within the next week or something. Like it's like the most powerful, like it's way more powerful, than like the Hubble telescope. They're gonna launch it, and it's gonna possibly, fucking see aliens.
Yeah, it's just like like we're gonna be able to like see shit that we've never seen before. What if it's just filled with space poops out there?
Yeah, it's just so many Oumuamuas. Like, just smells like shit. It's just like giant turds, like rotating and wobbling.
There's no way to know if space smells like shit. There's no way we could possibly know that.
Wait, I've heard that it smells like steak or like burnt steak. Who said that? Some like astronaut said that. Yeah, apparently they can measure how it smells if they have they have smell-o-vision,
and it smells like burnt steak. No, it doesn't.
That's what I've heard, dude.
Why'd you just say that?
I like to be provocative, on this show.
All right, I want to get into our boy Abraham.
Okay, Abraham. That's his real name. We will call him
Avi.
by his God-given name. His nickname is Avi Loeb. He's a professor. He's an Israeli-American theoretical physicist and professor of science at Harvard. So he's a smart boy.
At Harvard. Yeah. He's pretty intelligent. Yeah. He's honestly smarter than me, you, and probably anyone currently listening to this episode. So
I would surmise that as well. Yes. Yeah, dude, he's cool. He's been, I guess, the longest serving chair of Harvard's Department of Astronomy. And he's really into aliens. Like, he's really been into like disclosure and, trying to figure out all of this stuff. So when Oumuamua came on the scene, he got hard. he got a little hard. He got, his ears perked up, his penis perked up, and he was immediately like, okay, I think that this is aliens. Like, this could possibly be a fucking probe. Like, this is too weird. He is very much the guy who's bringing this theory into the public conversation. He put forth
Yeah.
the possible probe being sent maybe intentionally by aliens to kind
Right.
of, fuck around.
He has really good reasoning for it. And it's,
Absolutely.
So he is open to this idea to begin with, which I think is important. And also the characteristics he's noticing on this thing, he's like, well, it's insanely light. We know that it's way lighter than it should be than most other objects like this. We know that
Right.
it is insanely thin, like thin and oblong. Like, this shape doesn't naturally occur. If anything, all scientists can agree on is that, if it is a naturally occurring object, then it's a fragment of another object, because this shape is so insane. So he's
Yeah.
like, well, a very oblong, thin, light object will use the sun's light as an energy source so that it can accelerate. And it's called a light sail. And it's something that he is currently trying to develop with his team. So, like, he sees this thing and he immediately is like, wait, I'm making this. I'm making this right now. I know what this is.
Right.
So which would have to be artificially made.
Yeah.
So he's not necessarily like, I know this is aliens for a fact. He's just like, you guys, like,
there's a strong possibility. Exactly. Yeah. Basically, don't shut it down, Neil the ass. Like, come on. Like, yeah.
And Neil is such a fucking ass about it, because all he's saying is, let's go about this theory. Like, let's look at this and wonder if it was an artificially made object, would it move like this? Would it do these things? Like, what else can we observe from it? And people just say no. Like, we're not even gonna go down that path, and that's disgusting.
That's just very like anti-scientific. Also, it's
that's
not
Project Blue Book for you right there. That's what that is.
100%. Yep. NDT, he in there. They still doing it. Yeah, so it's cool. Like, he also thinks that if this was another civilization, it could possibly be from a civilization that no longer exists, and they kind of like sent this out as like a last, kind of like message to the universe to kind of like get their own, just to get their like existence out there, like, so it could be kind of like maybe going back to like that hollow moon theory where, the moon is actually like from a dead civilization, and they're like, they've hollowed out, the asteroid or whatever to like live in there.
Yeah, last ditch life-saving efforts. I get it. I follow.
Right. Yeah, he also thinks that, he has like an optimistic view of this. I don't really have an optimistic view of what Oumuamua is, but he thinks that it's like a message in a bottle, kind of like enticing us to look for other artificially made objects and interact with them and study them and just pay more attention, basically.
Right. I love the way he describes this, actually, is like, if you were walking, he says, like, if you're walking on the beach and you saw a bunch of rocks on the beach and then you noticed a plastic bottle, that's kind of what Oumuamua is to him. Mm-hmm. And he actually, one of his proposals in terms of the search for life elsewhere in the universe is that we look for trash, because if we're looking for oxygen and stuff like that, which is what we're currently spending all of our money on, we're just doing it with the assumption that life has to look exactly like us, which it absolutely does not. There's no reason to think it does. And he's like, the one thing we know for a fact intelligent life would produce is trash. But he brings that up and he gets laughed out of the room. And it's like why? You're already looking for intelligent life.
Why would aliens be above trash, man? Like, of course they would produce trash. Like, everything's nasty. Like, all civilizations are nasty.
It obviously doesn't just mean like plastic bottles. It's like, like energy.
Yeah, just
emissions.
Like waste. Yeah. Discharge.
Just all the bullshit. Yeah. That comes with being alive.
Yeah, let's kind of get into a little bit of what the naysayers say exactly this is.
Right.
So they've been kind of going back and forth about just definite explanations, like, yes, we have it all figured out, we know exactly what this is, case closed, atheists. And so
case closed, atheists.
Yeah, one of the ideas is that it's a nitrogen ice fragment that came from like a Pluto like planet that shattered in a young star system, like in our galaxy in the Perseus arm of our galaxy, I guess is the theory. And then it was ejected and we're just now seeing it, but it was like from like 1 billion years ago or something like that.
Right. So the reason they think it's nitrogen is because it would be like a type of material that would like be heated by the sun, but then wouldn't be detected as a tail. So it would like
Right.
explain why it's accelerating, but we wouldn't necessarily see it.
There was no heat signature on this thing either. So that could explain it too. But it doesn't actually explain it because fucking the Harvard astrophysicists, including fucking Avi, like they all disagree with it. They're like, look, I mean, there's not enough nitrogen, I guess, in the universe to make an object
In the
like
entire universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they said that like if you did, like the density or like the mass of the object would be 1,000 times the mass of like every star in our galaxy.
It makes no sense. It's so ridiculous.
It can't exist. They were like, this is an impossible object to exist.
That's more preposterous than it just being an alien probe. You know what I mean? It's like
that's the thing that pisses me off so much every
why
time.
go out of your way to make like the most ridiculous explanation, like
and be like, this object that can't physically fucking exist, not only exists, but was shattered in a perfect way at the perfect rate of speed to cross paths with Earth's orbit so we can see it at this exact time we've been looking, because we've only been looking for a couple fucking decades.
I know.
Rather than just being like, no, it's actually alien life, and there's probably a bunch of shit like this that we're going to find if we keep looking. Like, why wouldn't you just, why are you making it so hard?
Yeah, another theory is that it's like a hydrogen iceberg comet. So they're going back to the comet theory, but it's a hydrogen comet, and that is
hydrogen
bullshit
iceberg.
too. Because hydrogen, I guess, can't survive that long. Like it can't kind of stay in one form for that long of a time, and it just doesn't really explain anything else. So again, like
well, they said that like for the theory with the hydrogen iceberg to work, it would have to be like tiny, like the size of like a grain, like tiny, and then it also something that small can't survive. So like, and that's literally the only way that this works. So yeah, like I don't really know if any of that's true, but I'll take the word of people much smarter than me that that's the way that works, and just say that no, case closed, atheists.
Right.
No.
Yep. Got him. Yeah. So you know what's really crazy though, Tal? Are you familiar with a little man named Arthur C. Clarke?
Yes, I am.
So he fucking wrote a book in 1973 called Rendezvous with Rama, and it's literally this. It's literally about a cylindrical asteroid that aliens like hollowed out to use as a ship, and they entered our solar system and they like, were fucking around with us basically, which is so crazy. I don't know.
It's cool because like the humans in the book that find the object are scanning the skies for near Earth asteroids in order to like avoid impact, and then they end up finding this weird cylindrical object and notice that it's an interstellar object, something we've never seen before, and then decide to try to study it to see if it's an alien spaceship and learn all of its secrets and stuff. Crazy.
Something tells me Arthur C. Clarke maybe knew a little bit more than he was letting on.
I would agree with you, and so would all of the scientists that originally tried to name Oumuamua, because they originally tried to rename it Rama.
I know.
Because of all the similarities.
That's
Wonder why they shut that
down. Too close to home. Yeah, it's crazy. Let's kind of get into like the implications of this. If it is aliens.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared, Tal.
Okay. So in order for us to do this, we got to get into some theory here, and our next episode actually is going to be heavily focused on this idea, because it kind of drives all of the theories with alien life and stuff we've been talking about. It basically revolves around the Drake equation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Drake equation is just easy equation to figure out exactly how much life there should be in the universe. You take, stars, planets, hospitable planets, figure out all those numbers, and your answer to the equation is that life should be everywhere.
Yeah,
like it's
should
not
be like super abundant.
Yeah, they say that there should be, based off the Drake equation, there should be 20 civilizations just near us, like ones that are like easily accessible to us.
Yeah, neighbors.
And there's not. So everyone who studies this sort of stuff has been bending over backwards trying to figure out why life isn't everywhere. It's actually harder to figure out why we haven't run into alien life yet than trying to explain any of this other bullshit away. So this is called the Fermi paradox. It's where is everyone?
Right.
Again,
Right.
we're going to go way more in depth on that into our next episode. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And so these reasons why we haven't run into them range from things like the Great Filter, like, basically all civilizations run into the same sort of problem and kill themselves off.
Yeah.
That life is actually incredibly hard to start. And also something incredibly scary called the dark forest theory.
Ooh, yeah.
Which brings us back to Oumuamua.
So first, I want to read this quote actually by, again, the man of the hour, Arthur C. Clarke. He says that 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not, and both are equally terrifying, which is just so true. Like, there's just insane implications for either case being a fact. But basically, to go into the dark forest theory, this is the idea that every civilization is kind of like waiting in silence on its own planetary system, kind of afraid to make any move because of the fear of there being like another civilization out there that's going to kill them.
Aliens are keeping quiet on purpose.
Yes, it's like an armed hunter in a dark forest who encounters like something else, like either another armed hunter, prey, predator, something, and it has to make a move. And usually the move is to eliminate it.
No, exactly.
Everything's staying silent because it knows that everything else is hostile and it will just eliminate whatever other civilization that, it encounters. So it's fucking crazy. If this is really like what's going on here, we should not be fucking with Oumuamua. Because if it is a probe, if it is some kind of like intelligence gathering device that's, making sure because maybe, that civilization is also dealing with these questions. Like, where is everybody? Like, where, are we truly alone? Let's send something out there to make sure. And then we're fucking with it. Like, oh, hey, what's up? We're right here. Hey, like, pay attention to us. And then it's like, oh shit. All right.
We're the stupid ones that are like, everyone else is like trying to keep quiet and like ducking down. And we're just like screaming out, like, we're
so
over here. Like, we're
interested
so
in making contact. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it is a terrifying thought if that is potentially what Oumuamua is like literally just a scout that's out there, like maybe not even looking for life, but like if we were the ones that approached it when we should just be hiding like everyone else, then I mean that's the fate that is waiting for us, I guess. We've sent out a lot of shit. And also like SETI, one of the first things they did when they discovered Oumuamua was to check it for radio emissions. Which
why?
Pretty interesting for something that you're like, oh, it's definitely just a comet. I'm just gonna check it for radio emissions on this comet.
I mean, we're risking a lot. We're definitely risking a lot if there is something out there and we make contact. It could be a huge gamble. But that's again, that's pessimistic. Like maybe we should be optimistic. Like Avi Loeb, he thinks that maybe another civilization, if we do encounter it, will be much more realized than us, and they are peaceful, and it doesn't have to be a hostile encounter, but would we be hostile is the question. I think we would probably be hostile.
I mean, the idea here is that they can't possibly know. Like if we were to meet another civilization, we don't know what we're interacting with. It could be somebody that something that we couldn't possibly reach a level of understanding with, and their first go would have to be to kill us if they're able to. And if anything is sending out an object like a Oumuamua, they certainly are able to.
Anything that we put, like any kind of thought about this, is just putting our own human filter on an incredibly alien civilization that literally might not be bipedal, might not have like emotions, might not be conscious in the same way that we are, like doesn't have an understanding of good versus evil or like threats or being nice or anything. It's like there's no way to know what that kind of civilization would be thinking, if they even think,
Right.
you know?
And also the thing that you touched on earlier, which is that this object was potentially billions of years old, just like
Yeah.
because of the rate of velocity that's going at, and like the direction it's coming from, and like the fact that it has to be from a different part of our galaxy. And if that's the case, if this object is billions of years old and it is artificially made, then like what are we dealing with here? Like a civilization that's billions of years old?
Yeah. Unless they died out, unless, they sent it out and they're fucking long gone. Could be. But
Could be.
I don't know. Maybe
I
we'll
think that's
know
all stuff we can get
someday.
into.
Yeah, we'll know someday. But I'm not holding my breath, and I'm not going to sleep tonight. So great. Yeah. When you really just sit down and think about it, it's fucking terrifying, man.
It is terrifying. Yeah, I think that the stuff with Oumuamua really scares me because when I look it up, like there is no answer. There's no scientific consensus right now on what it is. They'll call it like a comet, but then they're like, well, it's not a comet, for these reasons, and it's just no one knows what it is. And I hate to be the one that just like jumps to aliens right away, but something creepy came really close to us and we didn't even see it till it was saying goodbye.
Right. Well, maybe it's time for us to say goodbye, because I think that's about it.
That was a really bad transition. I don't like that.
Are you kidding me? That was so smooth. That was one of my smoothest, actually.
No.
I think Neil
agree.
the Ass would disagree.
Yeah, and for the
with what
record,
you're
Neil the Ass is still calling this shit a fucking comet. So
Oh my God.
get
He
at
knows
him.
shit.
Tell him
He
he's
can
an
go
idiot.
eat
Just let him know he's an
space
idiot.
shit. Go eat the giant space shit. Like, he's done. Done with him. All right.
Cool.
Let's be done.
Let's be done.
That's it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I appreciate you guys listening to us trash Neil deGrasse. You guys should add us on Instagram at TMTYDpod and continue to trash Neil deGrasse with us on there.
Yeah, help us in our trashing campaign. Yeah, we have a TikTok. Am I saying that right?
We do have a TikTok. TM2IDpod on TikTok.
We'll try to put more effort into that stuff, but it's life happens.
Life happens. Yeah, no. You guys should check that out. You also could check out our Reddit page that Laura is always on, just constantly doing shit on there. And we also are still putting up bunk snacks on our Patreon. So if you guys want more content because you can't wait fortnightly, then there's an option for you there.
There you go.
Check that out too. All right.
Case
Laura?
closed. Checkmate. Atheists. All right. Goodbye forever.
Bye, atheists.